what that tells us is you, Miss Monica Palmer from Grosse Pointe Woods, which has a history of racism, are deciding to enable and continue to perpetuate the racist history of this country. And I want you to think about what that means for your kids who probably go to and when they see all their black classmates.
Yikes. That was a Democratic canvasser in Michigan. I think they're actually just trying to count the votes, the legal votes. Ric Grenell, former ambassador to Germany, former director of national intelligence, and good friend of the president. Rick, welcome back. How are you?
Greg, thanks for having me. Always good to be here.
Greg, what's on your mind tonight? You know, there are people out there who are excited. There are people out there worried who are rooting for President Trump. We're in this holding pattern. How are you feeling? Where are you encouraged? And what are you concerned about?
Well, I spoke to the president today, so I'm always encouraged when I speak to him because he's quite focused and very upbeat. Look, I think that he realizes, and all of us on the outside, those people who are not from Washington, D.C., we all realize that Washington, D.C. types, which are politicians and the media, they garner all of their power from not having transparency. They like to hold the information and spoon feed it out. So what Donald Trump and the Trump campaign and what we are trying to do is push forward transparency. We want all of the votes to be in the sunlight. We want to show everyone, and that includes the Biden campaign and the media and the public, exactly what these groups of votes say, because when there is sunlight, when the public is able to view exactly the groups of votes and how they're counting, we are confident that Donald Trump will win. You can't have a system that's so closed and that pushes out Republican overseers and tries to keep the information from the public and then expect to have some sort of a great transparent election. I'll give you an example, Greg. We in Nevada have had a county commissioner's race thrown out. 150-some thousand votes thrown out for this one particular county commissioner's race. Now, on the same ballot was the presidential question of whether or not you wanted to vote for Donald Trump or Joe Biden. But somehow county officials are only throwing out this one county commissioner race because they say it's too close and there's too much potential fraud that they're finding. But somehow that fraud doesn't translate into the other questions on the ballot. It's crazy. And it's the only way that it can work is when they hold this information close to their vest and don't share it with the public.
I'm a little bit concerned about people who are close to the president, who are not as friendly with him as you are, you know, people who work, live, and their future is in the swamp, that they're hearing all this stuff from the mainstream media, you know, President-elect Biden this, no evidence of voter fraud that, and saying, you know what, let's just move on, huh? Let's just get this over with, because they want to stay employed in some way, shape, or form in Washington. That concerns me a bit. Do you know what I'm talking about? And am I right to be worried?
Let me just say this. I would never tell you not to worry about something, but let me say 2 points to that. One, you know, the first time that Donald Trump came to stay the night in Washington, D.C. was the week of his inauguration. This is a man who absolutely does not listen to the ways of Washington. He is totally focused on the American people and those who are on the outside. And the second point I would just say is that Donald Trump has just gut instincts when he's seeking information to always look outside and ask people who are from the real world. So I don't think that he is somebody who relies on the ways of Washington or the questions of Washington. And he certainly recognizes that there's a whole bunch of people in Washington who want jobs and want futures there. They want a cocktail party invite. And so he's learned over the years that you can't really rely on those people anyway. So he doesn't do it.
Fabulous. I'm glad to be reminded of that he knows that. Of course he does. And he knows he's got 70 million plus who are devoted and want to see this come out the right way. Ric Grenell, we appreciate it. Give the president our best, and please come back.
Thanks, Greg.
You bet. You bet.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.